Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be seeing about the welding operation and how the arc welding is done. So, first welding means it is a type of joining process in which two similar or dissimilar materials are joined together to create a joint. To join together, we are using the technique called as welding. So welding is a fabrication or a sculptural process that joins materials, usually metals or thermoplastics, by using a high heat to melt the parts together and allowing them to cool, causing fusion. Welding is distinct from lower temperature metal joining techniques such as soldering, brazing, which do not melt the base metal, but in case of welding it melt the base metal to create the joint between the two workpieces. So either two similar or a dissimilar metals can be joined with the help of a welding process. So advantages of welding, if we take about the advantages of welding, it creates a permanent joint, 100% strength, leak proof, no change in cross sectional area, high load carrying capacity, possibility to join alter joint properties, lighter assembly, various shapes can be joined, dissimilar joining is also possible, and the plastics can also be joined. If we take about the disadvantages, change of metallurgical properties and the presence of heat affected zones. So heat affected zone is nothing but when we are placing the two workpiece, the edges will be heated and that area will be of a called as the heat affected zone. So residual stress generation, distortion means change in the shape, poor performance under vibration, and the inspection is difficult. So these are some of the disadvantages of welding. So applications, if we take about the applications of a welding, fabrication of pressure vessels and steel structures, automotive industry, home improvement, shipbuilding, mechanical industries, aerospace and aircraft construction. So these are very few, but there are wide variety of applications for a welding. These are a very few applications of a welding process. So there are two types of welding. One is the arc welding, the other one is the fusion welding. So plastic welding and a fusion welding. Plastic welding means the edges of the material will be heated. The material which we are going to join, the edges will be heated, and a hammer, it's kind of a forging. So forging where the edges will be beaten up to create the fusion. So here in this diagram also you can see plastic welding. So example is a forge welding where there are two workpiece and the edges are heated up. The hammer is brought and when it is struck hard against the workpiece, a fusion is created. That is, the joints gets the joints are fused. So this is the plastic welding. And fusion welding, the example is an arc welding. Arc welding means the electrode is used to join the gap between the two workpiece. So this is an arrangement of an arc welding. So before starting of the doing an welding, two things to be done for sure it has to be done. One is the joint preparation. So if we need a single square groove or a single bevel groove, double bevel groove, whatever the shapes we need. So these are nothing but the edges of the edge preparation. And this is how the joint to be done. So that preparation, simply we cannot keep the two material and do the welding. So we need to prepare according to the shape required, and we have to clean the joint because if there may be lot of dirts or anything. So if when the flux is passed, when the welding is done, it may create some oxidation and some chemical reactions. So in order that, first after preparing the joint, the edges, the joints has to be cleaned. So next one is the arc welding process. So arc welding is a welding technique which is used to join metal by using electricity to create enough heat to melt the metal, and the melted metal when cool result in binding of the metals. So the welding area is usually protected by some type of shielding gas, vapor, or a slag. So this is how this is a diagrammatic representation of how an arc welding is done. So there is a welding machine. It is connected to a one end of the welding machine is connected to an electrode holder. The other one is connected to the workpiece, and when the electrode holder is moved against the workpiece, arc is created, which in turn makes the electrode to melt, and it creates the joint. So this is the arrangement of an arc welding. Here you can see one end is connected to a electrode holder, the other one is connected to the workpiece. So in an electrode holder there is an electrode along with the gaseous shield. Why do we need a gaseous shield? In order to, so there may be some uh, uh, if there is any dirt or anything available in the surface, in order to prevent the chemical reaction to take place, we are giving some gaseous shield. There is also a flux coating and granules. So here when the power supply is switched on, the electrode holder is also gets the power, and the power workpiece also. So the electrode holder is brought in a contact with the workpiece, but not kept so closely. A gap is maintained between the electrode holder and the workpiece, and when it is when the gap is maintained, an arc is produced. Because both the workpiece and the electrode holder is connected to a power supply, so when it is brought near, an arc is produced between the holder and the workpiece, which makes the electrode to gets melted up, and this melt the base metal, and which creates the welding. That this is how the arc welding is done, and this is the direction of travel. It starts from here and moves this way. So the arc welding, there are two types of electrodes used in the arc welding. One is a consumable electrode and the other one is a non-consumable electrode. Consumable electrode means which will be used as a base metal. That electrode will be melted and it helps in creating the joint. Whereas non-consumable electrode means it creates a joint but not by melting itself. So these are the two types of electrodes that are used for an arc welding. So the advantages of the arc welding, it includes, it has a high speed as well as a welding efficiency. It includes a simple welding apparatus. So it is easily movable, and it forms a very powerful bond between the welded metals. It provides a reliable welding quality, offers superior welding atmosphere. Source of this welding is not costly, and it is a quick and consistent process, and it utilize ordinary domestic current. So if we take about the disadvantages, we need a skilled labor for this. The rate of deposition can be incomplete as the electrode covering tends to burn and decrease. The length of the electrode is 35 mm and needs electrode changing for the entire production rate. These are not clean for reactive metals such as titanium or aluminium. So here is a small video of how this arc welding process is done. So you can see here the workpiece is connected to one power supply and the electrode holder is connected to other supply. When it is moved with a small gap, an arc is created which helps in doing the welding. So this is the arrangement of an arc welding process which is connected to a power supply. So the electrode holder, so this is nothing but the electrode. When it is moved with a gap against the workpiece, the welding process is done. So you can see the gap between the workpiece and the electrode holder. So this gap can be of about 1.5 to 3 mm. So this is how the arc welding process is done. Thank you.